Hi, welcome to another Pygamepi production. My name is Derek Lee. This is Java video number 4. This is on loops. So what a loop is, it's kind of like an if statement, but well, it loops. So it sounds a little complicated, so I'll show you. So there's one loop called a while loop. And you start out kind of like an if statement, but you put while, some parentheses, and some curly brackets. And then let's make an integer real quick called counter. You'll see why in a second. So that equals 0. So we have this integer named counter that's set to 0. And then in these parentheses we're going to do counter less than 10. So while counter is less than 10, this while loop is going to loop. So as long as counter is less than 10, we're going to loop. So well, this while loop is just going to loop infinitely unless we make it so counter increments by 1 or some sort of number. But it has to, no, let me see, it just has to increment by some sort of number. And to add value to an integer, you have to either use plus plus or plus equals whatever number's 6. And so these two things basically do the same thing, except for this plus plus only adds 1 to the number. No, it won't add any more. So if you're just going to add 1 to a number, this is a really easy way to do it with this counter plus plus. And then with this counter plus equals, I'll show you what's really going on. So we're really doing counter equals counter plus 6. And why you have to do it like this is because when you're setting a value to a variable, you have to use the equal sign or this built-in plus plus. Why this is because when you're working with integers and stuff, you sometimes so like if I have an if statement and I have like a num1 and I want to checking see if it's equal to counter plus 1, well, this counter is not, this 1 isn't going to be set to counter. It's just going to temporarily add 1 to counter and compare it to num1. And that's why you have to use an equal sign to set the value, because you can do this. So yeah, but you really don't need to know that. You just need to know that this is how you set a value with this plus equals, or you have to do this long way, counter equals counter plus 6. But I wouldn't use that. I never use this. I always use plus equals. It's really easy to remember because it's just like plus equals. It's like a new operator in math or something, but it's for programming. Anyways, so yeah, now we have this counter plus plus, and right before that though, we're going to do a system.out.println, and we're going to output counter. So we're going to output counter every time this while loop loops, and then we're going to add 1 to counter until counter is not greater than 10 anymore. So let's run this. Unless it's already running. Shoot. Just a second. Okay, sorry about that. I guess, I don't know, so that was weird. Yeah, so we run this. Let's look at the results. So we run, then we get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again, we don't get 10 because it's when we're less than 10, not less than or equal to. So there's a while loop. Now there's actually just gonna get rid of that. So now there's a thing called a do while loop. So we're going to do this first, and then we're going to check the parameter. That's why it's called a do while loop. Let's put the same, so let's actually come down here and do counter greater than 10. And notice counter is never going to be greater than 10, so you might be thinking, well, why would this even run if counter's never going to be greater than 10? Well, that's what's so great about a do while loop. Do while loop will always run at least once. Let's do a print system.out.print line. So output counter again. Semicolon. Semicolon. And then let's run this and see what happens. So we run and get 0 because again it will run at least once every single time. But it may not run any more than that. Unlike a while loop that may never run. So yeah, so do while loops can come in handy every now and then. I don't think I've ever gotten into a situation where I've needed to use one, but if you want something to run at least once, then use that. But I've never really needed to use one, so I don't know. I know Miss Taylor will test you on that, so keep in mind. Okay, so there's a third type of loop called a for loop, and you start out the exact same. Parentheses and some brackets, but the difference is you have to start it out with an integer like this, and like inside it you make the integer. So we're going to do int x equals 0, and we're going to place semicolon, and then make the parameter x less than 10, semicolon, and then do the increment right here, plus plus. You can also, most of the time you'll just increment it by 1, but I guess there's possibly other times you'll increment it differently. But I've always incremented it by 1. Yeah, this is what makes the for loop differently. It's because it's always going to loop a specified number of times. Unlike a while loop that you can use like a boolean in. So if we made a boolean means true false, then set it equals true, and then use that in there. See, we're not using a variable and incrementing that variable a certain way. So that's the difference between like do whiles and for loops. For loops are made to loop a number of times, not like a while loop that will run forever. So yeah, you can make an infinite for loop. It's just a lot harder. Anyways, so now we're going to do a system.out.print line. Going to output x. Going to run this and see what happens. If I can get my output. There we go. So we have run 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again, we only get 0 to 9 because x, so when x is less than 10, not equal 10, or not above 10. Yeah, that's how a for loop runs. So now I'm going to show you some things that for loops and while loops are used for, and I'm going to start out with the while loop. First, I'm going to make boolean named true false and set it equal to false. Now, well, actually, I'm going to name that done, and well done not equal true. So well done is not equal to true. You're going to loop. So this is a lot of times what you'll see when you're making a game, because you'll make this while loop and then you'll do some functions and stuff inside here, and while your game's running, this loop will just go on forever, just looping forever until till the person exits the game or something like that. And then let's say inside here I'm going to do if counter, and I'll make this variable in a second, equals 10. So your counter equals 0. So we have this counter and it equals 0, and if counter equals 10, we set done equal to true. And so just think of this counter as like a score, and so when you get your score to 10, then you win the game and it ends. So if I just hit run right now, it just looped forever. So we need to do something else. So let's do counter plus plus. And so this is going to loop and add 1 to counter every single time, and then once equals 10, it's going to become true. Let's run this. And so it ran, and it was successful, so we did that right. And so that's kind of what you would see in a game. Say for a for loop you'd use to loop through an array, or to like get every single character from a string or something like that. They're used quite a lot because they're very useful. So there's basically how you do loops. They're not too difficult. Here's a while loop, just real quick, just help you remember. Then we got our do while, and then for loop. And then I want to just point out a few things when you're programming. So when you're programming, just these little things that make a difference in how your code looks and like how clean it is. You don't really have to pay attention to this too much if you're not really going to get into programming very much, but like the space right here between the while and the parentheses, sometimes, like, it depends on how you like it. You can either have a space there or not. I think most of the time I don't put it there because I don't feel, to me, when it's away from it, it just doesn't feel like that really goes with that while loop. And then like with these curly brackets, I like them like this instead of when it's up here next to the while part, because you can actually check to see if you have a bracket for each of your brackets just by going down and looking, because they're all straight down like that. So there's just little things just here and there. But for this for loop, I like to space it out because of all the text a for loop uses. See, it just kind of clumps together, so with the for loop it looks nicer. It's spaced out like that. yeah, just a few things. So yeah, here you go. Loops, not too difficult. And once you get them, you've got them pretty much for good. So yeah, I'll see you in the next video.